So I want to talk about this Drake lawsuit real quick, and I'm not doing my podcast this week, so I'm going to share my thoughts shortened here. Now, technically, it's not a lawsuit. It's like a pre-action petition, which says, hey, we might want to do a lawsuit, so we want to get this information out so that we may be able to do a lawsuit. Here's why I think it was a mistake. One, in Black culture, it basically just looks like you calling the cops. For whatever reason, it looks like you said, I'm just going to call the cops. I'm calling my lawyer. And in the Black community, that's frowned upon, I would say. At minimum, it's frowned upon. Two, even if it were true, and I'm not even arguing it's not, you are basically alleging that the record company was, boosting up Not Like Us, playing it when people were asking for something else, playing it after every single song. That could be true. If it was, that's payola, which has existed since the beginning of time in the music industry. You paid DJs, you paid record companies, you played, radio hosts, all those people, right? But by then you're alleging that they are boosting the song, and you're missing that the song was actually really big in the Black community, in hip hop overall, which Kendrick said, I'm what the culture's feeling. So by saying, my lawyers, we're going to be on you, you guys are boosting, it seems that you're disconnected from the culture. So to, basically bait Kendrick, you need to drop. Nah, you ain't getting away from this. And then he drops and you're like, well, they was helping you. Now, which one is it? I feel like he might have been better off just admitting defeat or being quiet. But the possible worst action ever is to go, my lawyers will hear about this. Your lawyers? Even if you win, you lose. Even if you win this case, right? And say you're beefing with Kendrick, it's with UMG. Even if you win this case in the court of law, you by far have lost this case in the court of public opinion, which is where your career and your legacy is judged, right? This is a smear mark, probably worse than just losing straight up. In the Black community, you could take an L and live. Like, he took an L to me in the Pusha T beat. Like, he never responded. We clowned him, but eventually he came back and people was listening to the music again. I feel like he could have done that a little bit, although I do feel like this time the culture had turned on him a little more in the time since Story of Adidon and now. So I feel like he had lost some fans in the last couple of years based on some of his actions. But I don't think his career was over. I do think this is some irreparable damage from non-Drake stans. His stans, this will not hurt him at all. But Drake wasn't big because he had stans. He had, for a good time, everybody. I don't think he'll have everybody anymore after this. His stans will feel emboldened for sure. They're probably gonna come on this post. That's y'all right, okay? But the people who don't got a dog in this fight, they ain't rocking with it. And here's the thing too, I feel like Drake and his stans, they never took an L. If you love sports, for example, like you watch Roy Jones Jr., one of my favorite boxers. I loved Roy. He looked like he could never be beat. And then one day he lost. Like, he got knocked down and it was a bad knockout. And I just had to sit with that like, dang, they got my boy. But I still loved him and still supported him. But it was obvious he took an L. Drake people are trying to act like he didn't take an L at all, when the whole world feels like he did, and it just makes y'all look like, are we watching the same thing? And I feel like this court case was that too. All right, that's all I wanted to say.